Welcome to The Force Always. My name is Dave, aka Diz. The new look, studio sort of feel here at the moment. Anyway, let's get right into the actual reason of this video, which is the review of Joyride, the movie. So I'm going to go straight off the bat and say it was a 7.5 out of 10. It is hilarious. The expectation was hilarious beforehand. It's a real, keeping it real type, sort of real life sort of feel to the story. Really touching moments towards the end of the film. And there's not going to be real spoilers what I'm going to say here. I'm just going to give you sort of a little bit of insight. But if you don't want anything spoiled, maybe turn away and watch this after. The only thing I'll say is that the thing that was spoiled for me, which may spoil it for you, is I knew how hilarious this actual film was going to be. And it sort of squashed my sort of intense humour about this particular film. So I just sort of, I lacked a bit of laughter, even though it was funny. Really good story, great. The way the script moves in this film, or the dialogue, it's really bouncy and it's really, it flows really at a good pace. And that's it. It's just a nice, simple, but really good film, effective. I think the best way to go into this film is not know anything about it. Absolutely nothing. Just do not even know what this whole sort of thing is about. Because I find that if you do find out that it is seriously hilarious, it may squash your expectations a little. But anyway, 7.5 out of 10 for Joyride. The standouts to this film was definitely the intense humour, just the intense language that's being used in this film. Like, lots of people use the F-bomb. In fact, I'll tell you a bit of a fun fact. This film was actually not meant to be called Joyride. It was actually meant to be called Joy. Let's spell it out, F-U-C-K. But that would have, personally, in my opinion, would have been a bad decision, as I think the film doesn't deserve that title. I know where they're sort of getting to really shock value, and it is a bit of a shock value type humour in this film, but I think it would have been a bit too much, and obviously it is too much. It would be really hard to sort of try and promote or advertise or put signs up about this particular film in a cinema or outside a cinema. It would cause a bit more vulgar promotion about it. Look, the acting was done well. It sort of does lend itself in a partial way to maybe having a second one, which you could do. Look, the amount of people that were in my cinema tonight, which was actually a sneak peek particular session, so it's actually not out until tomorrow here in Australia, there would have been maybe less than 10 people in a actual theatre that would have had maybe 60 seats. It was a small size cinema. So I think this is just not going to bring in numbers. I think word of mouth will give it a bit of legs. But I don't think it's going to really come in with big numbers in the coming weeks here and America. I definitely think here in Australia it's going to be a really hard sell, as there's just been no understanding of this film beforehand, unless you do watch YouTube and sort of got to know it that way. there is nothing to be known here. I've seen a couple of buses with the advertising on it, but I don't know if it's going to grab people's attention. There is a bit of an Asian population here, without sounding, like that could be a racial thing. I don't know if you would take it as that, but definitely I think the Asian community would relate to a lot more of the humor in this film, just certain little habits and stuff like that. There was, it was definitely good. I was just a bit let down knowing that how funny it was going to be before I went into the actual film. But anyway, it's definitely a worth see. I don't know if it's a big screen sort of type of movie, if you really love it, see things on a big screen. But I think it's worth, any film to me, any stories worth seeing on a big screen. It's just a nice, intense, but little comedy. Comedies are lacking these days, and this really does bring it home. So 7.5 out of 10 for the Joy Ride. Now, I will be reviewing a number of other films in the coming weeks, as we've got an array of films coming out. Barbie, there's Oppenheimer, and Mission Impossible. Be checking those out wishingly. I'm sure I'll be able to make those sessions, and be sure that it will be a drop of my particular video before it does get released. Usually here in Australia we do get a chance to see things beforehand because of our time difference. Besides, the only film that's been late here, and I think it really killed it because it was really late, was Transformers. I never ended up seeing that. Not that I was completely interested, but, missed that. Anyway, until next time, my friends, keep rocking.